referral script that is going to blow the lid off of how many more referral partners that you can gain this year right now. We're going to get into that. I tell you what, exciting stuff going on. Oh my goodness. Last podcast, I came at you pretty hard. Sorry, come here, let's hug it out. But I hope that you were able to reframe. And the last few days, you've been like, oh gosh, I'm starting to have these wins, and I'm changing this tide, and I'm doing all the things to help myself grow, and I'm not going to let the market dictate what I'm going to do. And I just, sincerely wish, and my hope for you is that sparks something to make a positive change in your life and your business. We all need that from time to time. We all need shook up from time to time. I get smacked around by my coach sometimes, and that's good. Not really. We don't beat up our clients in our ingenious loan officer and browbeat them, but obviously we're going to passionately speak and, hey, let's go together. We got this, and hopefully you continue to get, if it's not with us, get mentorship and someone to hold you accountable and say, hey, I love you. I want you to grow. Let's plan together. Let's reframe. Let's get where we need to go. So sincere hope that you do that, because this is going to be a great year. It's going to be an amazing year for you in 2022. I just got to take some just massive steps here. That's just take this next step. You're not going to know all the steps to get there. That's okay. That's why getting guidance is really important. And even if we've kind of been there, done that, if you've been doing it for 20 years, even, it doesn't matter if you're brand new, wherever you are, we all need help, and we all need redirection. We all need reframing. We all need, just to have some more skill sets, or tighten up our skill sets to grow. It's just, that's just life. It shouldn't be scary. That shouldn't be anything that negative feeling at all. It should spark interest and just feel alive, because there's so much more growth out there. How boring would it be? How boring would it be if you had all of it down and never could learn anymore, and you're the best version of yourself you could ever be, and oh my gosh, the market actually will dictate what I can do. Or gosh, how exciting and thrilling is it that I have power? I have power of my growth, of my skill set, of what I could do. So good golly o'Malley, it is a great time to be alive, and I hope you are doing amazing. So today I want to give you, this could be a shorter one here, but it's very impactful. Don't take the shortness and this, what I'm going to say be anything other than, hey, I want you to take this, and I want you to run with it, and I want you to build a scale, and I want you to just take action on it right now. So listen, here's the deal. Let's first start with, there is the old model of selling, which is I'm going to have 60-70% of my time spent in presentation mode. If you've listened to this podcast before, I've talked about it several times. I keep wanting to bring it up because that keeps coming up over and over and over. And that's, I want to make sure that you continue to distance yourself from the presentation. I know it's very tempting, because even if you got a new product and everything else, and you want to talk about that the whole time, and present it and go through all these things and how long you've been in business and all this other stuff, that, and rates and all this stuff, it's okay to talk about it for a little bit, just to spark a conversation, but get into the real meat of it, which should be, really learn about them, what they need, what they prefer, clarifying, getting the pain points, getting into their goals, their aspirations, who they are as a person, who they identify their self to be, what's their aspirational identity, how they need to be confirmed socially. Do they have an approval need? They want to be approved. Do they have a significance need that they want to be, looked as significant? What do they need? What do they need from you socially to be feel empowered. But what I can tell you is that in this script we're going to go through today, it's going to be a very short one. I have a more detailed one depending on the situation for this. But today we're going to just throw this in here. And gosh, it's been so impactful for, I've done it in my business, and we've had genius loan officers really step up their game from this script. But I want to first start with the fact is the presentation mode is the lowest form of persuasion, right? Like when you're presenting, you're trying to close. That is a very, very low form, very, very low form of helping people make a change, right? It's not very influential. It's very low on the influential stage. Yes, you're going to have some lay downs that are going to be like, okay, cool, that's great. I'm a new agent. I just want to connect with someone and get this thing going and get a lender, whatever it be. But you're going to eliminate a lot of people from wanting to do business with you, or you open up a window of suggestibility. And that's a lot of things what we do. We teach that in Genius Loan Officer. We open these windows of suggestibility so you can go through. And it's not so much that, the three things a lot of times people, want from a lender or loan officer is communication, right? Like they want that communication, close on time, and what their leads fall through with. But we can't just go there and say, okay, this is what you need. This is what I'm going to do really well, because we haven't opened up a window of suggestibility yet. And so we're always making sure that when little bits of presentation are needed, or we need to do feedback, we need to do stories, that we've opened up the window of suggestibility. And the most influential way that influential zone is when someone convinces themselves it's important to do something. It's most important to them to use you as a business partner. They're convincing themselves. The most influential time, the most influential zone is the client convincing themselves and telling themselves why it's important to use you as a lender. That is the most influential. So I'll repeat that again. The most influential zone is your realtor telling you, more importantly, telling themselves why it's important to use you as a lender. Now, this is key. This is very key. Instead of you telling them, hey, this is the reason, this is the reason. So we're trying to close and convince, hey, this is the reason, this is the only reason you want to use me. You're opening up these windows of suggestibility. You're having the correct conversation. You're clarifying, you're influencing, and then asking good questions that are opening them to say, hey, this is the reason why I should be using you as a lender, not the other way around. So influential. So real quick script here that you can use to do this is your real estate agents now that are currently sending you business. We need to be trying to get referrals to not just clients, but other agents. How can you get them to refer other agents? Yes, you can just ask, hey, who do you know? Right? This happens with clients. Who do you know? Who do you know who? Right? Probably most of us all heard that. It's not bad. Listen, if you're doing that consistently and you're serving first and you're asking and you're doing all the nurturing and you're not just sitting there, paying for things you shouldn't be, but you're actually developing a relationship and you're having, like I said, having these correct conversations and all that, like, yes, so those are going to work. But let's take it like a much more influential zone, which is, sounds a little bit like this. Hey, Mary, I really appreciate us working together, and it's been such a joy to serve you and your clients. Let me ask you, Mary, what if I've been able to help you with the most? Mary, what have I been able to help you with the most? And Mary may say, you know, well, I really like that you're great in communication. Oh, okay, awesome. Well, like specifically, what in communication does is really helpful, the most helpful to you? And you can do that acquisitive tone. Really, you're not going, hey, what was this most helpful? What's Mary? I appreciate that. I believe communication is the key. What is most helpful out of the communication that I do? Something along those lines, right? So they can say, well, you know, I like that you update this time. I like that you do this. I like how you actually talk to client, whatever. So now they're telling themselves why it's important, right? Why they like using you, which is you're doing two things. The first is we're getting them to tell themselves why it's important. They want to continue using you and why they do use you. This is great. This is going to compound in their mind. This is the reason why I use Joe, the loan officer. Joe, I use him as a loan officer because he's great in communication. Here's the things he does on communication specifically. Not just he does, it's good in communication. Don't stop there. Go deeper levels. We could, this scripting is like only a few lines. However, when we play it out and when we try to clarify, it can be a conversation that lasts 5 minutes. It could be a conversation that lasts 15 seconds. It can be a conversation that lasts 3 minutes, depending on, you know, what they are saying there and what nuggets they're giving and how you can come back and clarify and really be inquisitive. Like, out of curiosity, what do you mean when you're saying I'm great in communication, or that's most helpful in communication? Like, what is specifically out of the communication helps you the most? And they can sit there and have these different layers of the communication. For example, they're telling you, but more importantly, they're telling themselves why it's so important to use you as a lender. This is key. Getting them to tell themselves why it's important, not just say, hey, you know what? Man, I'll tell you what, who do you know who I can help? Okay, great. You know, I'm really good in communication, you know, and I think we've really worked good. I think our communication's good. I think we, you know, obviously we're following up on your leads and everything else. Absolutely. Hey, John, hey, Mary, hey, John, who do you know who can, you know, I can, you know, do that great a job with? That's not horrible. Like, again, you're asking. However, what's more influential? Ask yourself, like, telling them those things and just going along those lines, or just saying, or just simply saying, who do you know who's another realtor I can help? Certainly, again, that's cool. You can have real estate and go, hey, well, you know what? Gosh, I think you'd really be a good fit for Jim. He'd be, you know, and you're like, okay, great. Let's link up. It can definitely work. But ask yourself this: what's more influential, that or you asking these questions, which I'm talking about? What have I been able to help you with most? Getting them to respond, tell themselves why it is, clarifying, get deeper, 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5 layers deeper into why that's important to them, right? And so so we say communication. How is that important? Right? What specifically? No, and they're going down that. And then you can say simply something like, you know, Mary, let me ask you something out of curiosity. Before we started working together, was that, you know, is that a different experience than what you're used to or what you expected? Well, yeah, absolutely. It's before I was getting these, you know, these loan officers, man, out there, they're not falling through. They would never call me. They would never do this. They would never do that. Oh man, Mary, I bet that caused a little bit of an issue, right? Oh man, it's a big issue, man. It's so frustrating. I like to minimize for them to maximize. Minimize for them to maximize. I'm not gonna say, oh, I bet that caused a big problem. I'm like, wow, Mary, I bet that caused a little bit of an issue for you. Oh my gosh, it caused a huge issue. It was this. Oh man, that's horrible. And then we can come back and say, Mary, with that in mind, who do you know that's struggling with their lender that, they're not really getting the communication and the love for the client, and whatever. You can name just one or two things there, three things, like maybe the first initial, and then a layer or two, maybe one or two layers below. What do you know? Who do you know? What real estate agent do you know that has been struggling with their lender X, right? So then we're plugging in what they're saying that is you're doing so well with. So the communication, who do you know? What real estate agent you know that is struggling with maybe their lenders just not really getting back to them in an appropriate time, and not feeling like they care about the client as much as they do. Who do you know that is struggling with that? And they may say, I don't know. I'm not sure. And then you can come back with, hey, listen, I get it. You may not be able to remember off the top of your head anyone, but imagine, Mary, just imagine for a moment that you do think of someone that we would be a great fit together. What would you tell them about me that would probably help them the most? And again, they may say similar things again. So we're embedding. They're telling themselves why it's important, which is concreting into fact, like why you're so freaking phenomenal, why they use you. And then now they may think of someone. Imagine for a moment you do think of someone. What would you say would be the reason? Tell them the reason they should call me. Right. So now again, now they're doing a couple things. One, they're telling themselves, and they're probably going to think of someone they may think of someone now because they're just, hey, imagine. So now you're putting them into imagine zone. Imagine yourself thinking of someone that we would be a good fit together. What would you tell them would be most beneficial for the reason they should use me? Something along those lines, right? So you can change it up. There's a couple different ways I said that. Use it in your own tonality and way you deliver, but slow it down. You hear how I slowed it down. Don't just say, hey, who do you know, right? Slow it down. Let them think about it. And then they may tell you, again, they could tell you, hey, this is the reason why. So you concrete it. The other key point is when they do think of someone, if they think of, Tom, the real estate agent, then they're way more likely to tell Tom, hey, you should call my boy Adam. You should call my boy, my girl Angel. You should call my girl Amy here because she is so phenomenal on her communication. She does this. And it's helped my business a lot. Like, they are way more likely now to say the specific reason why you should call them. What do you think is going to be more influential to the one they're talking to? If they just say, hey, I think you should call Ann. I like her as a lender. Or they say, you should really call Ann. She's phenomenal at, I tell you what, her communication is the best I've ever seen. I was struggling with lenders doing the same things you're talking about. And then now I'm getting updates every Tuesday. I'm getting, my leads are getting followed through with at this time. They'll tell me this, right? It's phenomenal. It's helped me grow my business. Way more likely, way stronger. So when that's introduced, boom, lot better introduction, which you can also use with your clients, by the way. You can also use this type of scripting. How do I help you the most? It's really powerful stuff if you use it right with the right tonality, slowing it down. Don't deliver too fast. Write this down. Take this, if you're driving, that's fine. Go back to this, listen this over, write it down, write down the scripting, write down your languaging, your tonality, This is just, you know, we have tons of other stuff we talk about to be able to help, but I hope you see for yourself how influential and how different this is than what you're doing now for referrals. How you're getting, and you probably may not even be asking these agents that you've been working with for a little bit. Talk about cold calls, which I hate even saying cold calls, because there is no such thing as a loan officer calling a real estate agent's cold, by the way. That's just BS. Just please, it's a joyful opportunity to call. And the fact is that they're in the same space. It's not like you're calling somebody, you know, you're just looking up and trying to Google a number and calling, or just randomly just dialing some number that somebody's not in the industry. It's not a cold call. I don't care what anybody says. It's not a cold call. Okay. Let's just stop it. It may not be the warm and hot one, but it's not cold. And furthermore, you ain't never going to call anybody out of the blue if you continue to call it that, because it's a horrible metaphor. So get horrible metaphors out of your languaging, please and forever. However, I digress there, but I just get off on tangent because I'm trying to help you not have bad messaging and hear that stuff and metaphors that are really self-limiting and really hold you back from what you can do. But when it comes to, hey, I need to get in front of more agents, how do I do that? This is the way to do it. You know, if you have agents now, multiply those. How often are you going back to that? And this can be every, you know, it doesn't mean that you only ask it once, that's it. And, you know, you can go back to, hey, Mary, before when we spoke about, you know, what was the, you know, thing, you know, I was able to help you with the most. You feel like that is still the case? I think you said this and this. Does that sound accurate, or, you know? Yeah, absolutely. I think you did good on that, you know, and then you can kind of have that little conversation again, but very short. And then, hey, I know we spoke about it before, and I know you're, you know, super, super busy doing a lot of stuff. But, you know, since then, who have you thought about that is struggling with X, right? So you can go back to that and look for opportunities for them to refer you just great other agents. They can do it. And I promise you, if you have, say, 20 agents that's been sending you business decently, right? Or you have 10, let's just say you have 10, you know, there's a very good likelihood you can multiply and have 20 sending you business within a few month period by just doing this. Wouldn't that change your business? Wouldn't that help you with your inventory, quote, inventory issue? Because you got 10 more sending you deals that are actually really good qualified agents that are able to send referrals, more likelihood to go into contract. You got more pre-approvals. It's always going to be a percentage, always and forever. Don't even for a second say that's not going to solve some problems. It will for you in your pipeline. You pre-approve another 20 people a month. Even if your percentage is lower, you're still going to close more deals, right? You know this to be true. So concentrate on this type of stuff. How can I multiply my agents? And understand that a lot of people are going to, they're going to shrink, right? They're not going to do these things, but you doing it, it's going to help you grow your business this year. And it can happen really rapidly. So go back to that. And again, with your clients, you can do the same thing, or, you know, your past clients, you can ask that, hey, you know, do you feel like I was able to help you the most? They will even, like, when they're, people are saying stuff about you on social media, it's more likely if somebody says, hey, who's a lender you should use, it's more likely that they're going to state the reason why to use you, which is much more powerful, right? Than just saying, hey, call my boy John there, he's great, or call my girl Angel, she's fantastic. They're going to say The reason, more specifically, a lot of times, I'm not saying always, but the percentage is definitely going to go up. And that can mean the difference of, some more referrals. It will mean the difference of more referrals. So the script, write it down, put it in kind of your own languaging, but understand and listen to the tonality, inquisitive tonality, the pausing. You want, like slow it down and like, what have I been able to help you with? You feel like I've been able to help you with the most. Like that is really inquisitive and sounds genuine, and you want to be genuine, and hopefully you are a genuine person. That's something that I can't I totally teach on here. But if I'm delivering, I'm genuine, but I want to make sure that they know I'm being genuine. Well, I do appreciate them sending me business, and I truly want to know what they find most valuable. What you're going to learn too is, if you have this, is that the value you think you're providing, the value you think they think is the best thing since sliced bread, or you think that, hey, I'm trying to do these Facebook leads, and and oh my gosh, I'm trying to give these out and divvy these out, and oh my gosh, and I've got to just keep doing this crazy stuff to get these deals from. You may find yourself realizing after this that you don't need to do some of those things, and you need to just push in more on certain things that you didn't know that was really that important to them. It could have been something simplistic that you do, and most time it is. Most times it's just the care. Most times it's just the communication. Most times it's just that extra call. Most times it's just that extra little, friendship. It's that extra little laugh. It's that extra little just camaraderie. It's that extra little just who you are, and it's not this other garbage you think is important to them. So you're going to learn a lot of this, and this is so. I know don't be the one on here, please. Please do yourself a gift. Don't be the one on here that just says, "Oh man, that's simple," or I got to have this next trick, and Adam, I don't think this is going to work, or if you're trying to find things, trying to find a reason why this is not going to work. One, it's not going to work. Two, you're limiting yourself. Three, just know that you have a lot of bad messaging there. You should be diving in. I promise you, this has worked with so many. It's worked myself, and it's so valuable. It is a platinum nugget I'm giving you here if you use it right, if you practice it a little bit, if you consistently do it, if your tonality is right, if you come from the heart, if you just do this very consistent with agents, and you can do it with clients, past clients, it will work. It will work, I promise you, if you allow yourself and find yourself joyfully and quickly act now. That's all I got for you. I love you, care about you. I don't know if we got any more spots left. I think we may have one left for the mastermind in March 3rd and 4th. I tell you what, you're missing out if you're not coming. It's a 6,700 square foot spot we have right on the nice slopes there in Breckenridge. It's a beautiful mansion, and it is going to be a growth like you've never seen before. You're going to 10x, 20x of that. I mean, there's no way you don't, because we're delivering and you're getting one-on-one interaction with myself and Dallas. And good gosh, it's going to blow the lid off. So the question is, are you going to take a chance on yourself? Are you going to invest in yourself? Or are you going to keep investing in the products and the CRM, the new CRM, the new this and that, which has nothing to do with your self-development and growth? That is going to be the key. Your self-development growth this year is going to be key, whether you succeed, thrive in this market, or you retract. It's not going to be the next CRM. It's not going to be the next whatever, blah, blah, blah stuff that really doesn't matter. If you're not investing in yourself fully this year with coaching, with mentorship, with growth, being around real growth minded people, then guess what? You're going to retract. And I don't want that for you. I know you're on here that, and you're listening to the podcast, and that I believe in the podcast. That's going to give you a little nuggets, but to get the full scope of things and the full growth and the full, just diving both feet in for growth this year, you need more than that. Okay. So you know the drill. Limit to risk equals limited income.